Hi, my name is Dan Fredman. My Chinese name is Fu Deming. I'm an American and I live in Beijing, and I'm a coffee drinker. I drink coffee every day, but most of my Chinese friends, they drink tea. I realized I really don't know much about tea, even though I've been here for so long. One of my friends told me that there's a place in Sichuan Province, Ya'an City, and he said this is sort of the birthplace of tea, and it's also the location of something called the Teahcer Ancient Road. Soon after I arrived, I met Mr. Huang, who's my teacher of tea. 请问你是黄老师吗？
是。
Hey. Yeah. I asked him about Chama Gudao. He said before you study that, you need to learn more about tea, the special Tibetan tea that is made here in Ya'an City. 味道很不错. Mr. Huang, he took me to the tea farm. It's kind of outside of the city. It's on basically on top of a mountain, and it's beautiful scenery.
对面那个小丛的，就是茶园。
这个叫茶兜子，
茶
兜子泡在这个茶兜上，你先淘一下，对，是淘过来。
So the first thing that I got to learn about was picking the tea leaves.
我们要过的这个茶叶集中到一块，然后放在这个茶兜上，用拇指使劲的把它按住，然后向左边旋转，茶就出来了。对。
This is actually a very traditional method that they use there. The worker gave me a traditional knife, an implement for cutting the tea leaves that I guess they've probably been using a similar thing for generations for cutting the tea leaves. 需要多长时间能把一个包
就是装满，
对
吧？一般来说，如果我采摘的话，一般就是1个小时。
And the workers who've been doing it their whole lives, they can effortlessly get a huge clump of tea leaves all at once in a few seconds, and me, I was just kind of getting little bits at a time. I'm pretty good at cutting the leaves. I'm not too good at throwing them in the basket at this point. Let's see.
Yes.
So once I fill up one basket, then I get to go back and find out what the next step in this process is. Anyway, I eventually got okay at it and filled most of the way my big basket that was on my pack.
体验一下这个采茶的不易啊。
对，我们就把茶叶倒出来。
So the next step in the tea making process was, I don't know if it was, I would say it was my favorite, but it was the one that kind of made the biggest impression on me, and that was called shaqing. I guess it's blanching the leaves. Wait, 危险吗？
不危险。
This huge wok is 200 to 300 degrees. And even though they kept telling me it's safe, don't worry, I was actually kind of worried.
你看师傅他。
Technician who was there, of course, is a master of doing this, so he doesn't have any chance of burning his hands. But he could effortlessly move the leaves around the wok and pick them up and do whatever needed to be done.
茶抓茶。
The whole time I was kind of worried that I was going to burn my hands, and it really was kind of hot.
对，杀青的作用就是去掉那个草青味，它的香味出来了就可以了。
这个动作要做到什么程度呢？
看那个茶叶杀青走水，就是水分消失的情况，来确定你杀青到没到位。你看，是吧？有点粘手了，是不是？哎，这个程度就差不多了。
After that, we dumped all the leaves into a big burlap sack, and then carried it up a ramp, and then stepped on it. Simultaneously rolled the sack down the ramp.
这个手要扶好，看到没有？脚要慢慢的溜，两个的动作要协调。等会儿师傅带着你溜一下，好不好？行。
I have a feeling that this is much, much harder than it looks. Also, I have a feeling I'm probably going to fall down, and it won't be the first time I've fallen down today. But anyway, you'll get to see. Here we go. Now, that actually turned out to be the hardest thing in the whole process, because you're kind of off balance, and then you really have to be stepping and rotating the sack at the same time. You have to coordinate with the other person. If you don't do it right, the sack just kind of slips down, and the two sides get uneven. This is the third time. Hopefully, the third time will be the charm. Swin. After struggling and not doing a very good job using this traditional method for rolling and pressing the leaves, which is supposed to separate the stems and the leaves, later on I found out that nowadays they have machines to do this much better than I was able to do. Almost there. But at least I got to experience and try the traditional way.
好，
We made it. 成功了. So after all of the different traditional process, I got to learn about the fermentation process. The one thing that really kind of surprised me, I wouldn't think that having everything just sitting there that they suddenly on their own get warm, but I guess that's sort of the key part of the fermentation process. This is really when the leaves go from just being leaves to really become tea. 有点像长城.
对，
The next thing I got to learn about was packaging. They still package it in the same way they've been doing for hundreds of years.
它也没有通过压制，是相当松泡的，不利于运输、包装捆扎以后呢，它就不容易损坏。
几百年前也是用这个包装。
对，
就这个包装。
And so this is a traditional way they've been using for generations. I also got to try this as well. Not the whole thing, but just wrapping with the bamboo string, which I also was not very good at. And it's much harder than it looks. So it took me about 10 minutes to do what the guy who does it for a living does in about 30 seconds. A lot of these things, they now have modern methods of doing it. One of the reasons they use the modern method, it's more efficient and they can do much bigger quantities. There's so many people who drink tea, obviously, in China and in the world. Actually, the fact that I got to study and learn these old ways is hopefully I have a better appreciation for the tradition and got to really learn more about the basics and the essence of how they make the tea. This afternoon, Mr. Huang, he took me to teahcer, which is sort of the starting place of teahcer gudao.
这个茶马师是茶马古道上管理茶马交易的地方。宋代的时候，由于战争非常激烈，需要战马，所以朝廷当时就下令，雅安的茶和汉中的茶专门用来驿马。雅安那个茶马师就是目前全国唯一保存下来的茶马师。这个就是过去这个茶马古道上的一个缩影。雅安藏茶呢，每年大概就是生产25000吨，供应西藏。过去呢，全靠人背马驮、牦牛驮，所以这条道就成了川藏上的茶马古道。这个就是茶马古道上的新天香，一个古老的驿站。
Finally, I got to go to the real teahcer gudao.
这个地方就是过去那个背夫们住的地方。
While I was there, I got to see and learn about some of the traditional, authentic materials and devices that they used. I then actually got to use them myself. I got a little bit of help and I loaded up my back with 100 pounds of tea and then put on the traditional shoes and put on a traditional hat and started out on the teahcer gudao. Let's go. I can feel every single stone on the bottom of my feet with each step because of these traditional shoes I'm wearing. On my back, I have a little over 100 pounds. That's really not that bad, although if I were to slip, I'm not sure the result would be very good. Hey, 吃饭了吗？
从雅安茶马师到打箭路这一段是背夫最艰辛的一个路程，在悬崖的地方，基本上大家都是互相拉着拐杖，过去运输全靠这些背夫。
This part where the people were carried it on their backs was just sort of the first part of the whole road. Then they would transfer the tea onto horses and then go even further. 好，
辛苦了，
谢谢
喝一碗茶。
So after learning about the process and going through this experience, one really deep impression I got is that tea, it's not just a beverage, it's sort of a resource. And it really reflects the knowledge and experience of so many people over generations and over centuries. My journey here to Ya'an today, it really was a journey back through history.